That there has been a lot of change in the structures. And what we discussed in the very beginning, in the workshop, in regular buildings, quite beautiful. For example, in the 16th century, in regular about 150 people. They didn't have enough living space inside of the castle. The most important was to store here ammunition, gunpowder, and food supply, and so on. And the most of the civilian people lived outside on the islands on which they built small wooden houses, and then later the little village outside became the great town of 𝙸𝙬 in the early 1600s. I wonder if you have been thinking of the name of the castle, Ola's Castle, St. Ola's Castle, Olivinlinna. This statue is presenting the famous St. Olaf. He was a Viking king of Norway, and he died He hasn't been here at all because the castle was founded 1475. But the important thing is, in the late medieval times, there wasn't any European state called Finland yet. We were connected to the other Nordic countries, especially to Sweden. And the official religion in Sweden, among the Finnish people too, was Catholicism. And St. Olaf, he became very soon after his death an important holy patron. He gave his name for this castle, and we think during the late medieval times, St. Olaf was meant to be a great male protector for the soldiers, and that's quite logical. They gave his name to protect, to give protection for the people who lived here. The statue is from the early 20th century, 1912 exactly. And then we go ahead, because I'd like to take you a little bit up there too. So we go this way. Thank you so I already mentioned in the beginning that the building works was started in 1475. It took about 20 years only, as they had the so-called finished castle, and that construction, it had 5 towers. Today we have only 3 preserved. So one of the towers in the late 18th century, downstairs in the cellar room, it had a gunpowder room which was full of ammunition and so on, and unfortunately there was a fire and explosion too. And the other tower, which is not anymore preserved, was taken down because we know the foundation of that 5th tower, it was not so very good. So we only have 3 towers left. And now we are in the oldest tower. We think that the building works were started in this room, you know. To the left from the door opening, the opening was in the beginning a shooting loop, so it was illogical to shoot inside, but we think they really started the whole work somewhere in these walls of this room. The founder of Olivinlinna, he was a Danish-born knight and nobleman, Erik Axelsson Thought. We don't know exactly very well how long he was visiting the building workers here, but still this room has the name after him, the Thoth's chamber. And think now, a noble man. Only this old fireplace in the chimney, they didn't have any damper. It was all the way open to the top. And they tried to close up the window openings with animal skin or so. And of course, on the top of the original towers, they didn't have any roofs. So it was quite open. And you can imagine how cold and moisture it was. So it wasn't any kind of very pleasant living space, provincial castle. Now, ahead of us, we have a lot of stairs, and I saw somebody at least has a stick. So if you don't want to climb higher up, you can walk around here in the first floor, and for example, you'll get more information on these information tables or texts. But we do it very quickly, I mean. Okay. So let's be careful.
What short break? One drink.
Are you okay? Will you go inside? Yes, please. I'm sorry about this.
Ooh. Oh.
Sorry? Yes.
Yeah, please.
So you have a right attitude. Almost everybody was smiling. And the good question is, how on earth did they survive here? They always had to bring up to the rooms wood for the fireplace or something like that. But of course, as construction, the spiral staircase is one of the most best preserved construction here. So let's just be happy. Okay, one more question about the accessibility of the staircase, because now we got into the original chapel or church of the castle. It is still in use nowadays. It's an ecumenical chapel, so for example, we can have here weddings, but how the bride with a long crest can come up. And it's quite small, max 50 people can join the ceremony. The 12 crosses are very old symbols. There are 12 of them, apostle crosses. Here you can see best a piece of the beautiful painting they made. The experts of history think it was a painting with flowers and a symbol for paradise, maybe. One of the priests, we don't want to hear any ghost soldiers. Okay. So one of the most odd special things is behind of this wall. There's a little dark room with the entrance on the spiral staircase, and maybe 4 people on the same time managed to get in. It's a very small room, and we think the room was used by those ones who were not allowed to have access to the holy place or the chapel, for example, criminals or so. But on the human level, it was maybe a nice thing that they could look into the room and listen to the ceremony.
Like a prison.
Yeah, like a prison also, yeah. We go ahead now, please, and I get the last one, please, to close up the door.
উপরে যেতেছে
So please, room is all shooting loops which are open. You can see down to the great courtyard. And during the whole summer season,
these are the shooting spot maybe ওখান থেকে হচ্ছে গুলি করতো কি দাঁড়াবো আরে ছবি আইবো না তো সুন্দর আইবো না আইবো না আমি জানি তো
2,200 chairs for the visitors. And the constructions, of course, we take them down every year. It's a very expensive job. The first workers to build the constructions arrive here on the 1st of April. And the last constructions, for example, this year, were taken down in the middle of
carry all the stones over here and put it here.
As you know, we don't have classes like this. Our effort
They are so strong and taller than us.
The old stone, big stone.
And what we know about the big courtyard during the historical times, there were houses full of living space for animals, some rooms for animals, the sauna and the beer brewery. Okay, I hope you.
Yes.
Yes. Because chairs now.
Okay. Yeah.
So either those or
in this restaurant or place. Just make sure you went.
I only do that. I only saw it.
You were there.
All the time I also watch and it could happen. So I feel that I just go to walk and take the pictures. I already have post all the
Wow.
So hi.
This is
And especially during the winter, these stones would be very slippery without this.
Can I take a photo from here? Vishal.
Sure, sure.
And could you imagine it was snowy and slippery and no all this?
The amount of like.
Yeah.
So this is yes because this is very.
Now all different just in case. Joey,
Yes.
if you will not get it, like for example, heavy guns
Yeah.
and this snow, it's slippery.
Getting like tons and tons of weights and so I think
Yeah.
they will become comparatively much stronger than what we are today.
Yes, of course they were.
Down on the left side, you can see under the upper room, the yellow painted building that was built first by the Russians in the late 18th century. And now then, the three still preserved
No princess would love to visit here.
the bell tower, the western tower, which is the nearest one to the Continental Bridge. In the middle, the chapel or church tower. And in the
चावल जैसा लगता है है ना ऊपर से
we could go a little bit higher up in the bell tower, but the winter has started. Unfortunately, the tops are closed against the snowfall. Be back in spring then.
और भी रखी
সব কাঠ দিয়ে বানাইছে, কাঠ পাথর। ও মা গো।
Oh yeah. Facebook is like
YouTube.
It is staircase.
Nobody was here. What? You can wait for one. Oh yeah.
Too much traffic.
Roman, careful with the photo.
আবার ঢুকছে।
If you like, you can go to the little brown door there in that direction because it leads you to one of the old historical toilets. You can, if you are not afraid of high places, you can take the look down. It's about 28 meters down the rocky island. I think you can just take a look to the attraction when we are waiting for the others.
Please flush it after you use it.
ডাইরেক্ট খুঁজে দিচ্ছে এটা তো কিছু লাগবে
বাইরে কি হচ্ছে?
আমরা অনেক উপরে
And this room was clearly also for living because of the fireplace. And inside of this little closet, maybe there were some handmade cushions also. And that door is now open to one of the toilets of the castle. And in some books for travelers. We found the text. These are the first toilets in Finland. Okay, we don't know it, but they are at least very old toilets. The founder of Olivinlinna Castle, this noble Erik Axelsson taught, as a young boy, he lived and was working or studying in Europe, especially at the Padova University in Italy. And we think he was maybe the person who knew about these fantastic hygienic toilets and wanted to have them here in this eastern castle of Sweden. And now again, about 150 people living here, but only 3 toilets. But you know how it worked out during the historical times. The people had, for example, down on the courtyards, special places where they just were doing these things, and the toilets were actually something totally brand new. Maybe in the beginning they didn't want to use them because they didn't know about the idea of the toilets. And on the gallery where we were looking down to the eastern courtyard, where the opera festivals are nowadays in summertime, they probably had really the sauna. And I'm sure you know the tradition of sauna and the meaning of sauna for Finnish people. But for example, I think as a lady during the old history, sauna was something like a heaven for ladies who visited the saunas among the ladies. Babies were given birth in sauna and so on. Yeah. Sometimes in Olivinlinna, where we don't have any original furniture, no textiles, no original weapons either, the visitors are really asking about how the common life was. And we can only say on the regular basis, for example, about the connection and all meaning of the sauna and so on. We don't have anything original. And again, the point is, Olivinlinna was a fortress. Every time when the people moved out from here, the soldiers, of course, took the weapons, ammunition, and furniture and so on. Nothing was left here. But thank God we have a history. Okay, then we go down and to the left, please.
कितने घंटे की बनेगी? नहीं, पहले से फिल्म बनेगा, स्वीट हिट करने जाएगा तो स्टार्ट करेगा कि फिल्म मास्टर्स का थीसिस हो जाएगा। मास्टर्स का थीसिस
शादी साहब चलो हम लोग आ जाएंगे फिर से।
एक आदमी एक आगे रहो, एक जना एक आदमी आगे रहो, उसके आगे
अरे
हाँ ना, फिर वो सपोर्ट दे सकता है ना आगे।
निकल गया
ओ हर्ष वो निकल बैठने वाला भी है समता साथ में चला
ये देखो
क्या नीचे This is so narrow. Wow. How the view? Wow and how? Wow and how?
More people, and there are several groups here. Nowadays we have mobile phones, which most people have, but in those days, for example, in early 1990s, when so many had mobile phones yet, we had only one telephone downstairs. It works with coins, and the last task for the janitor of the castle, for the maintenance worker of the castle, was to check up the official rule that nobody was lost here. Yeah, and sometimes those colleagues of mine, the janitors, they told us that they have a statistics. Who are the persons who get the most lost in the castle? And they told us it is mostly a German-speaking older lady. I'm not sure if they just made jokes with us, but maybe the German-speaking old ladies have an idea for an adventure. They want to check by themselves without any stupid guides.
But did they will find them?
Yes, they found them, of course.
No, but did they find a reason for this happening with German ladies? Or was it just a joke?
No, I think it's more like a joke. But sometimes they found those people. And of course, always the explanation was, oh, I just got lost. Yeah, it's not my fault.
From the floor, not here, but over there.
Maybe about 12 meters high. So from the floor on this gallery?
From Saint Olaf statue?
Yeah. Is everybody here?
Yeah.
I think we lost the two young ladies who joined our...
They are over here.
You are there? Okay.
Two young lady.
It's a gallery of phantoms, so I think nobody wants to stay here alone.
Go.
Now that could be a guided tour.
Ghost.
And be careful, है ना? ये हाथ साफ करो.
Stop living here.
ये पेन की भी गिरेगा तो फिर पगले आपके अंदर भाई.
Very much careful.
देखो ना
বললে আমরা একদম সাথে যেতে পারা
তাই 302 आ गया. हाँ ये 302 आ गया. ये वेरी नाइस. एक कैटेगरी वाला है भाई. हम लोग वालों को अलाउ नहीं है भाई. कोई ये गया क्या? काफी दिन
हाँ वही टाइम था. वो ओला ने लगाया था.
झोला में लेके आके लगाया था.
301 में आ गए. कपेली चैपल.
हाँ मारो. करतब दिखाओ करतब
दादा
चलो भाई आगे देखो आगे नहीं देखना हाथ बंद करके चलते हम लोग भाई ऐसे हैं
Here, some more stairs to
oh tourist complete
जैन का नहीं बैठेंगे ना, इधर बैठेंगे तो खाने के लिए तैयार हो गया हूँ भाई
हार्श खिलाएगा डिनर नहीं चाहिए लंच
बैठो बैठो last supper
do you need to count how many? But I think it is just so nice so we finished our little for in the King's Hall, which was the most beautiful hall.
टाइम कितना हुआ 1:10
And of course, always the king or queen of Britain was also our king of Sweden.
Just let it
And this happened in spring 1622. The Swedish king of that time was Gustavus II Adolf. If you have interest for the history, you'll find his nickname the Lion of Nordic countries. He was a very famous later, a famous Swedish king to improve the military and tactics and so on. And he was here. But because the king only once visited his castle of Olivinlinna, the most of the time this beautiful, most important animal was there probably for the most important personalities of the castle. Men, mostly officers, the count of the castle, the pride and read, it was also one of the most important workers. And we think, of course, downstairs in the other dining hall ate the common people. The food there was mainly fish and bread and porridge, yes. But here on the noble side, on this inside of this noble hall, they ate a lot of meat, too, strong wines, exotic imported wines from Viborg city to eat from here. Of course, the life of that time, how nice your life was, depending on which range in the society you were born. But like we discussed in the beginning, nowadays everybody is welcome. Don't forget, you are so young people. If you land a wedding or so, you can phone us at the office, and together with the restaurant, you can organize a beautiful banquet here. Do you have now to the end some questions? Unfortunately, the restaurant runs only by reservation to this time of the year. Maybe the next time. Don't hesitate to contact us if you just have any questions. And welcome many more times to see and look how different this whole place is during the different seasons. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And for I heard you're going to have a lunch. Yeah.
We won't, trust me.
यहाँ कोई नहीं रुकने वाला। लंच लेके आया है ना, लंच लेके आया है। यस सर। आ जाओ।
Are you ready? Yes. Okay, thank you.
Need to download bro.
Wait, Raja.
Just a moment.
Cámara,